Ethan loved music. It was his refuge, his escape, his drug of choice, but nothing could have prepared him for an album that promised to unlock the hidden potential of the human mind. He stumbled upon it late one night while scrolling an obscure music forum. The description was vague but tantalizing, a series of soundscapes said to influence mood, enhance focus, and most intriguingly, reshape behavior. It was free to download, and Ethan, curious as ever, hit play. The music was strange, hypnotic yet disjointed, layers of ethereal tones interspersed with whispered words he couldn't quite make out. It wasn't unpleasant, but it wasn't enjoyable either. Still, he found himself returning to it the next day and the next. Within a week, Ethan noticed changes. He was more productive at work, effortlessly meeting deadlines that used to feel crushing. His social anxiety, which had plagued him for years, seemed to dissolve overnight. Even his insomnia disappeared. He now fell asleep the moment the music played. But there were quirks. He started humming unfamiliar melodies under his breath, tunes he couldn't remember hearing but couldn't shake. He'd wake up in the middle of the night and find himself pacing the room, his feet moving to a rhythm only he could hear. The strangest part was the numbers. Ethan began seeing them everywhere, on clocks, license plates, even in his dreams. Strings of digits repeating like a chorus. One evening, as he listened the whispers became clearer. "Obey," they said. "Submit, follow." Ethan laughed nervously, brushing it off as his imagination. But the whispers grew louder with each track, the words sinking into his subconscious like hooks. He couldn't stop listening, even as dread pooled in his gut. Then came the compulsion. It started small, an urge to rearrange his furniture in precise angles, to sort his bookshelf by an order he couldn't explain. But soon, the urges escalated. One night, he found himself outside his office building, spray painting those same repeating numbers on the wall. He didn't remember buying the spray paint or leaving his apartment. Terrified, Ethan tried to stop listening, but it was too late. The music played in his head, even when the headphones were off, the whispers now a constant undercurrent to his thoughts. "Obey, submit, follow." Desperate, he returned to the forum where he'd found the album. The thread was gone. Panicking, he searched for any trace of. Instead, he found a news article about a series of unexplained acts of vandalism and theft, each perpetrated by individuals who claimed they'd been compelled by music. Ethan's blood ran cold. The article mentioned the numbers he'd been seeing everywhere. They weren't random. They were coordinates. The next day, he packed a bag and drove to the location the numbers pointed to, an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of town. Inside, he found others like him, dozens of people, their eyes glazed, their bodies swaying to a sound Ethan couldn't hear but felt in his bones. In the center of the room was a speaker, emitting low-frequency hums and distorted whispers. A man in a suit stood beside it, smiling as he adjusted the dials. "Welcome," the man said, his voice eerily calm. "Music is the universal language, and now it's the language of control." Ethan tried to run, but his body wouldn't obey. The whispers had become commands, and he was no longer the conductor of his own mind. The question wasn't whether music could influence behavior. It was whether Ethan and the world could escape its grip.